It's official there. British rock star Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76. I want to put up this post that we have from the New York Post that they made on their X account saying Black Sabbath legend Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, dead at the age of 76. So
Ozzy Osbourne's death hit the headlines like everyone knew it was coming. Rock legend finally succumbs. Decades of drug abuse catch up. It was only a matter of time. But here's the kicker. It wasn't drugs, not even close. And the truth? It's making longtime fans furious. Because what really happened wasn't just ignored, it was buried. The Prince of Darkness didn't overdose. He didn't collapse from a needle or relapse into the bottle. In fact, Ozzy had been clean for over a decade. He'd been public about it too, sober, reflective, focused on health, and even undergoing multiple surgeries to repair damage from earlier injuries. His last few years weren't wild parties. They were wheelchairs, neck braces, and a fight to keep walking. So what killed him? Sources close to the Osbourne family have started whispering it was medical neglect. Not from his own doing, but from being passed between hospital systems that saw a fading rock star and not a patient worth saving. Ozzy reportedly waited over 14 hours for a specialist during a major spinal inflammation episode last winter. No media outlet covered that. They were too busy tracking his shaky steps at public appearances. Even worse, Sharon knew. She screamed about it, quietly behind the scenes. A leaked voicemail from late March, 2 months before his death, has her saying, "They're not taking him seriously. He's not a fucking addict anymore. He's a man in pain." This wasn't a drug overdose. It was a slow, silent dismissal. A legend written off by the very system he funded with decades of fame and money. And here's where it gets darker. Because some believe his health team was pressured to stay quiet. That reporting anything outside the expected drug narrative would confuse the public. How convenient. This story isn't just about Ozzy. It's about what we do to aging celebrities. Discard, mock, assume, and let die without asking questions. So if you're here for the real story, not the PR headline, stay right here. Hit that like, drop your reaction in the comments, and subscribe to MsCathyKnows, because we're not done pulling this curtain back. What you're about to hear next will piss you off. Behind the hospital curtains, the truth gets uglier. Because while tabloids were focused on Ozzy's rock past, the medical files were telling a totally different story. Ozzy was misdiagnosed more than once. In 2023, he was told his recurring numbness was part of old spinal trauma. Just inflammation, they said. What it actually was, a rare form of cervical spine compression, where his nerves were being slowly crushed. It was operable, but only if caught early. Instead, they tossed him painkillers, wrote him off as another former addict exaggerating his symptoms, and let him deteriorate. Here's the brutal twist. Ozzy knew something was off. In a podcast interview from early 2024, he said, "I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid of rotting in a chair." And that's exactly what was happening. His condition worsened because nobody took the time to listen. Family insiders claim he begged to see out-of-country specialists, but his label's insurance partners denied it. Too expensive, not urgent. Manageable, they said. Translation, let him fade. This is where the darkness truly sets in, because fans didn't see any of this. They saw Ozzy cancel tours and thought, drugs again. They saw him avoiding red carpets and thought, he's too high. They didn't know he was fighting chronic nerve compression, constant inflammation, and post-surgical regression. And here's the gut punch. Sharon allegedly pushed for a second opinion in Germany, but every request was delayed. And in those months of delay, Ozzy developed a clot.
For doctors to go, well, this is your injury from your fall, and this is what comes with Parkin too.
It moved, it hit his lungs, and that's what stopped his heart. Not drugs, not relapse. A medical chain of failure wrapped in insurance politics, silence, and bad assumptions. To make matters worse, the official report omitted the clot. It simply said cardiac failure. The perfect ending for a rock star's legend, but a lie for a man who'd survived everything else. So why hide it? Because the brand of Ozzy Osbourne is easier to sell as a burnt-out icon than as a mistreated patient. A silent fall is better than a scandal. But Miss Cathy knows. We don't do silent. The world threw up their devil horns and played Crazy Train like a funeral march. But let's be honest, most people thought Ozzy's death was predictable. Another washed-up rocker who finally ran out of time. That's what they wanted you to believe. That's what the media printed. But let me tell you, this death was sanitized, scripted, and sold. And the people closest to Ozzy, they're not mourning, they're burning. Because this was never just about old age or overdose. It was a slow, intentional fading, a managed collapse, a branding opportunity. Let's start with the silence. March 2025. Ozzy vanishes from social media. No tweets, no IG lives, no Sharon updates. Fans noticed. Forums lit up. Even TMZ dropped a headline. Where is Ozzy? But no one pushed hard. Why? Because insiders say Sharon was shut down, legally. Rumours point to an internal gag order, not from the family, but from executives tied to a streaming deal for Ozzy's biopic. The contract allegedly included clauses that limited negative press until release day. That meant no hospital stories, no lawsuits, no Sharon rage posts, and definitely no medical malpractice headlines. So what do you do when your rock god is dying too fast for the brand to keep up? You distract, you spin, you start leaking old concert clips and lost interviews. And that's exactly what happened. The timeline of Ozzy's public image in his final months wasn't natural, it was curated. And when the end finally came, they wrapped it in glitter and nostalgia. Heart failure, they said. Peaceful passing, they said. But what they didn't say, that Ozzy had begged to be taken to Europe for real treatment, that Sharon had filed 2 emergency requests for specialist reviews, both denied, that one of his nurses quit in February and posted this comment online before disappearing. They're making him die slow and quiet. It's not right. The post was deleted in under 6 minutes, but fans screenshotted it. And now it's spreading. And here's the punchline of this circus. The Ozzy Osbourne merch machine is now in overdrive. T-shirts, vinyl re-releases, documentaries, and a surprise unreleased lost track are all dropping like timed grenades. They buried him and turned it into a launch party. Sharon, she didn't even attend the public memorial. Sources say she was in London meeting with legal advisors, not funeral planners. Her silence isn't grief, it's calculation. Something's coming. And guess who's already lawyering up? Not the family, the label, the management team, the insurance carrier. Because if this story blows up, if the fans keep digging, if even one whistleblower cracks under pressure, this goes from sad death to corporate manslaughter. This isn't just about Ozzy Osbourne dying, it's about how we let icons rot while their handlers cash out. It's about the system that feeds off legends and buries their truth 6 feet under beneath a mountain of vinyl, lies, and branded candles. And trust me, Ms. Cathy Knows is just getting started.